Hello and welcome to Buckman's Model Mania. Today we're going to be working on stage 10 of the Disney Dollhouse from Hachette. Let's go ahead and get the parts out and then we will open a book and talk about these parts. So we have a chair, a pot of flowers, a second pot of flowers, a cornice piece, and the piece of tape that goes on there with the decorative design of Mickey heads. Let's go ahead and open the book. I already looked, so I can tell you, oh wow, that surprised me. This is very, very nice. Because I don't know if you can see it, but this is actually cushioned. Let's see. We'll take something that doesn't have my big fat finger in the way. This is actually cushioned. That is really impressive. But before I got sidetracked by the fact that it's cushioned, this is from Frozen, as are the flowers, the 2 pots of flowers. They are going to be in the house in a wheeled carriage of some sort. And we also need the parts from stage 8 that we didn't use. I knocked over the flowers. So the first thing we're going to do is on the cornice piece, again, making sure that we have it the right way around. And the way you can tell is this has got this end has a larger slant than this end. And that is really the only way you can tell. But you're going to do the Mickey head again. You make sure the Mickey head is upside right. Just looking, it doesn't look like they're saying to have it in an exact spot. But the key part is you need to make sure the heads are upside right. So what I'm going to do, and it looks like they're avoiding cutting any heads in half. Let me make sure that this is going to actually fit. I'm going to start there with the head. Adjust it I'm looking at the end here. Just a hair. I want to try and avoid cutting that Mickey head, so I'm going to start on this end. So the same thing as always, trying to pick this tape off here. Paying very close attention to where the line is going to run behind it. I'm going to put that Mickey head just right there. I think that's going to avoid any cuts to it. Pull this down straight, and it's going to go literally Mickey head to Mickey head, barely missing cutting the ears on 2 of them. I'm looking, actually, not those either. I have some better, really sharp scissors around here somewhere. But for the life of me, I'm not positive where. They're probably in the box over here, buried. But I do have these still handy. So we're going to cut right here, right along this edge. I think I'm a little bit off. It's kind of hard to cut with scissors right on the edge. And Mickey's head is barely going around. Actually, his head is just perfect there, not getting hit at all. So let's go ahead and press this down all the way across. And truly, it's a matter of, you can use what you want to push it down. I prefer to use the back of a paintbrush, but you need something that you can push it down with. Again, this one is going to be a little bit tricky because I have a lot more sticking out there than I need. Let's see if I On this end, same thing. Just barely missed the Mickey head. And that is all there is to do on the cornice for right now. So the next part that we're going to work on is the wainscoting. And we're going to want to make sure it does show the two on there right here. But the two needs to be to the back. You don't want that to be on the front. So they're saying take this, there's a little groove on here. And you're going to want to glue it like that. And just making sure there's A and B. How do you know which is which? So if I turn this one over, oh, it's going the opposite direction of what I'm thinking it is. That would have been bad. I'm just looking at this. So if I turn it this way, this one looks right. And this one looks right. Okay. So the A is going to look like this. It's got the single groove here on the back of where you have the gluing point. B, on the other hand, has a groove here and a groove here on the front. So we're going to take A and let's see. It says glue. It doesn't say what kind. They're showing what looks like white glue here. I am thinking this is a time for super glue. A little bit sparing use of it. The slanted part, just looking at how they're doing it. I need to read what that says, because I think it has something to do with that slant. And I typed in the password incorrect. Okay, so what does that say right there? 3 reliefs must be upside right. I have them backwards. Oh, I do, actually. I identified them correctly, but this is B. This is A. Okay. That would have been disastrous. It would never fit, and the whole house would have been ruined. Which now that makes more sense because the slanted end is showing on that side. So this is going to go on here. Should be, I'm pretty sure, flat like that. Let's see, because it actually says right there. And what does that say right there? Come on, translate that. Base panel, right side view. Fine, check both end corners. They're snug. Okay, it's not really saying what I thought it was going to say, but it sure looks in all the pictures like this end here should be flat. If it's not, will suck to be me. So we're going to take the pin vise, dip it in the super glue. And we're just going to run the super glue along the top here. Actually, it's the bottom. It's going to be the edge that matches up with the top of the wainscot. Very 70s retro thing to do in a house. I think actually, if I remember right, thinking about it, I actually have some wainscoting somewhere in my house. My house is old. So we're going to line this end up here all the way to the end. Push it on there. It actually does, on this end, line up pretty well. And 3 reliefs on the top, or on the towards the top, and then the 2 reliefs towards the bottom here. We're going to do the exact same thing. Put a little bit of glue on here. It will be interesting to see how this actually lines up on the house itself when it is attached to the wall. That's one bad thing about super glue, is it is not very forgiving if you have to undo something. But I don't want this to be falling apart either. So it's a risk you take. Come on, line, get on there. I need to burn the glue, the excess glue off of the pin vise. So we're going to put this on here. That. Making sure that we get it snug all the way across. It might be just a hair off, but it will be okay. And I'm a flippin' idiot. Let's see if we can get these back off. Because what I just did was I glued them on the back side. Hang on, there we go. I had the two. The magic 2 was there facing the front. What did I say about super glue being a little bit unforgiving? So we're going to redo this. We're going to do it right. Sometimes you make mistakes. Hopefully you catch them while you can still fix them. That is one thing about super glue. Super glue is removable. It will crack rather than, since I'm not using model glue, it's not melting the plastic. If you melt the plastic together with model glue, that can be very, very bad, because it actually fuses it, and then you're not breaking the bond, you're breaking the part. Come on, just a hair. That one's not quite where I need it. Come on. Okay. Let's push it down like that. That one's on. I'm going to let this dry for a second while I pause and see what the text is I just got. Okay, I am back. So we got this one. Let's re-glue this one. Like I said, I'm really glad that I caught this before it was one of these things that it was hard for it to be removed. Okay, and I'm going to set this on the table like I did with the other one. You may not have caught it, but I did that at the end, trying to make sure that it was on there good. So this, actually, I see how it's going to work. This is going to hang into the wall. The bottom is flat. That's why it's very important you get the right one in the right spot. And then the last part is to put glue on these 4 corner tabs and push these in. What I'm actually going to do instead is I'm going to push these in, get them in place, and then I'm going to glue the corner tabs from the back. There's a slight booger on that one right there. That's where they removed it from the sprue. And the problem with, if you sand dark parts, you can tend to see it. But if I put it on the bottom, it's not very visible. And so what I'll do now is I'm just going to take a little bit of glue over each corner. And this is going to keep it from being visible at all from the front. It's not going to seep. So we've got that, those 4 corners. Now I got to be careful because I don't want to glue myself to the part. And the pin vise is really good for doing things like this, for being very much in control of how much glue you use. And you can use it for more than just super glue. I just tend to use it for super glue because I have smaller bottles. But the problem is you end up with a blob on it like that sometimes. And that's when I know we were told not to play with matches or fire, but that's where we burn it off. Super glue is flammable. It'll burn off and it will leave your needle mostly clean. A little bit of black residue. And I just scrape that with my thumbnail. So there we've got the wainscoting drying. I'm not going to set it down on that side because I don't want it to stick to the table. But we've got the wainscoting here, the cornice here, and we've got the parts for frozen over here. That, my friends, is all there is to do in this issue. I would like to say thank you for stopping by. Like, subscribe, and hit the bell icon to be notified of whenever I post new content. If you're interested in this content, I hope you are. Take care of yourselves. Take care of each other. Have a great day. Have a great day tomorrow. And I will talk to you on the next video.